All right, guys, we're back with another LSAT question. This one is a weekend. All right, so we have some people fear that global warming will cause the large ice formations in the polar seas to melt. All right, so basically, we're looking at global warming, and obviously, we know that that means the rising temperatures. So I went ahead and circled some people because not everybody believes this. All right, it's just some people. Sometimes it's relevant, sometimes not. Thereby, warming the waters of those seas and threatening the plankton that is crucial to the marine food chain. All right, so without the plankton, obviously any organism that relies on the plankton for food as a food source, they're going to die. All right. So some scientists contend that it is unlikely that the melting process has begun. All right, cool. So this is essentially like this is like what we're attacking in the argument. All right, so some scientists contend that it is unlikely that the melting process has begun. Since water temperatures in the polar seas are the same today as they were a century ago. All right, so essentially, there's always going to be something wrong with the stimulus. All right, so we basically we're looking at a negative of what the scientist is trying to put out. So we're trying to like look at a negative aspect. Like, why is it unlikely that the melting process has begun? That's the only thing that we're going to be looking for. So, um, which one of the following, if true, most seriously undermines the scientist's contention? So all we're looking for is something that goes against the scientist. Any answer choice that goes against that says that it is likely that the melting process has begun. That's it. So any answer choice that's saying that, like I say, that the melting process has begun, and the scientist is just like off his rocker. So we have A, much of the marine plant life that flourishes in the polar seas will die in the event that the water temperatures rise above their present levels. All right, so this is like new information. Um, we don't really care about the polar seas will die. Um, and we don't care much in this argument, we don't really care about much of the marine plant life. Like it was stated, it's like, it was mentioned in the stimulus, but it's not important to countering the scientist's contention. We have B, the overall effect of the melting process will be an increase in global sea levels. We don't care about global sea levels, and there's no real mention about anything global sea level related. All right, so the mean air temperature above both land and water in the polar regions has not varied significantly over the past 100 years. And we don't really care about that because we don't care about air temperature. All right. D. This is the answer right here. The temperature of water that contains melting ice tends to remain constant until all of the ice in the ice and water mixture has melted. This makes sense because it explains why the temperature isn't why the ice hasn't melted yet. But so the temperature is remaining constant until all the ice has melted at one time. So that explains why how the melting process actually has started and goes against what the scientist is saying. It weakens the scientist's argument. And then I crossed out E, the mean temperature of ocean waters near the equator. So we don't really care about the location. So therefore, that's why we knocked out equator. Um, so ultimately, like I said, I chose D. Sometimes some things are like super relevant in the stimulus, and some things are like just there to throw you off. But you have to use the information that's there to basically to choose your answer, because you won't choose anything that's not mentioned in the stimulus. Like prime example, that's why we knocked out C when we said it's the air temperature, and that's why we knocked out E where it says the equator. It's like we don't even care about this stuff. Even the global sea levels, that's not that relevant at all. Um, So yeah, man. This is Eric Charles with LSAT, man. I hope to be doing more and more and more questions, man. Please just tune in to the next video and just leave a comment as feedback, man. Much love.